Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for coming back. It's been a minute since the last time I sat down to do a sit down and talk video. um what I'm about to talk about in this video today is one that has really left me dumbfounded, amused, and just a lot of mixed emotions about it. What I concluded eventually is the fact that Nigerian politicians are the most wicked people on earth. Yes. Because the things that happen, the things that politicians in Nigeria do, are the most unthinkable things, the most inhumane things that any human being or any group of human beings can do. Some of you must have seen the videos making the rounds on social media already, but for those of you who haven't seen the videos, a warehouse was busted today, housing tons and tons of food items meant as palliatives for COVID-19. So just a backstory for those of you who are not aware, because some of you have been dropping comments in my comment section asking what's happening in Nigeria. So Nigeria, my country, is experiencing a very turbulent time as we speak. Something that started off as a peaceful protest in Lagos and across other major cities in Nigeria has been hijacked by some hoodlums and some just some mischief makers, and they've been looting, breaking into private shops, malls, just looting and all of that. So what happened really? Some time back, a video was making the rounds on social media in which a SARS or some SARS officers. SARS is an acronym for Special Anti-Robbery Squad, a unit of the Nigerian police force that was established in 1992 thereabout to tackle armed robbery, kidnapping, banditry and other armed crimes in the country. The unit has been functional since then, but recently, in the past few years, there have been allegations of these officers of SARS committing extrajudicial killings, extorting Nigerians, and a lot of human rights abuses. So it became something unbearable for Nigerians. And the video I talked about, in which some SARS officers allegedly pulled some young men out of a car or a hotel room and shot at them, really sparked the outrage across the country. And then the EndSARS hashtag started trending, just the campaign to put an end to SARS, to take these SARS officers off the streets, for safety, because it became an irony. The same officers who were set up and commissioned by law to protect Nigerians turned out to be the ones who were perpetrating these, criminal acts against Nigerians. So Nigerians, we had enough. So the protests went on for days. Largely, youth were the ones protesting against these police brutalities and all these other, human rights abuses that were being perpetrated by the defunct SARS. And I say defunct because following the protests that went on for days in the country, the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria announced that the SARS unit has been disbanded, and immediately, about a day or two after, a new unit was set up called SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics, to replace SARS. And the officers, according to the Inspector General of Police, were going to be trained and all of those stuff. So but Nigerian youth were not having it. They were like, they want tangible actions. Apart from this EndSARS, there was a list containing 5 items that youth put to the government to meet, the demands that they wanted the government to meet, with demands that included putting an end to SARS, obviously, and then prosecuting officers who were found guilty, paying compensations to victims of police brutalities and their families, reforming the police, and then training of the SARS officers or the police officers. So those are the 5 demands the government said they were going to do. But the protesters wanted tangible actions because the police had lost the trust of citizens following their history of lip service. They would say, yes, we are going to end SARS. About 3 or 4 times the police had said in the previous years that they were going to end SARS, but each year at the end of the day, SARS officers were still on the street. So this time around, protesters wanted, genuine, well-meaning Nigerians wanted to see commitment and tangible actions from the government. So fast forward, the protests were going on, but after some days, there were reports of some armed bandits attacking protesters, setting cars on fire in Abuja, just perpetrating acts of violence against the EndSARS protesters. And the protests were largely peaceful in all of the cities that the protests were going on. It was peaceful until these hoodlums, who some Nigerians alleged that the government sponsored, because they saw videos of some of these hoodlums coming out from vehicles belonging, for instance, to the Nigerian police, or some security vehicles allegedly belonging to the Nigerian state security, DSS, that is the Department of State Security. So all of these allegations were going on. So eventually, just a few days back, on the 20th of October 2020, peaceful protesters who were camped at the Lekki toll gate were shot at by the officers of the Nigerian army. So it was a Black Tuesday. It happened on Tuesday. Since then, Nigeria has been mourning. The country has been thrown into chaos. The cities across southwest Nigeria, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Edo State, Enugu State, Anambra, River State, a lot of where the protests were going on, and then violence broke. So curfew has been imposed across these major cities, including Lagos. The incident happened on Tuesday. That was a day that curfew was declared by the Lagos state government. So following this curfew and the violence that some ill-meaning Nigerians decided to perpetrate against the peaceful EndSARS protesters, there's been reports of vandalism. Government buildings have been vandalized by these hoodlums. Private shops of Nigerian citizens have been broken into by these hoodlums, and they have been looted. A lot of these reports of violence here and there. Even here in Lagos, the Oba of Lagos's palace was broken into. It was vandalized. It has become an amusement park for children. Youth are there swimming in the swimming pool and just having a good time. Just a lot of things going on. But what really prompted me to even make this video was one of the discoveries that these young people made today. They broke into a warehouse somewhere in Mazamaza, a suburb in Lagos. In this warehouse, they discovered tons of food items that were meant as palliatives for COVID-19. Now, let's cast our minds back to March, when COVID-19 got to Nigeria and the government eventually locked us down. We're all at home. A lot of people were starving, because the reality is a lot of people in Lagos are daily wage earners. So people had to go to work every day in order to work to earn a living for themselves. But because of the lockdown, people were at home, people were not going to work, and it was increasingly becoming difficult for people to feed and all. Meanwhile, food items were stored somewhere in a warehouse. Food that was meant to be, distributed to Nigerians while they were at home, cooperating with the government to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. That's the height of wickedness. So when these young people discovered this warehouse, people had a good time. People were just cutting away tons and tons of food, as much as they can eat. A festival of food. Just pack as much as you want. That was what you are seeing the videos. That's what it became. Then this leaves us with a question: why? Because some of these foods are actually perishable. Gari, for instance, for those of you who do not know gari is a staple food that is processed out of cassava. you know, grated and fermented cassava that is eventually fried and used to prepare different Nigerian dishes like you know, gari swallow. You have the gari that you can soak in water and take with other foods like beans, and you know, you can even eat it alone. It's a staple food in Nigeria. So that food in particular is perishable. If you store it up somewhere for too long, it goes bad. I saw a picture where someone posted that they opened the bag of the gari and they discovered that the gari actually went bad. Someone probably starved somewhere just wishing to have that gari to eat. Meanwhile, it was stored somewhere and eventually it has gone bad. Where is our humanity? Where is our humanity, for crying out loud? Why are our politicians so wicked? You stock up food that is meant to feed people while people are starving, cooperating with the government to contain a pandemic for our collective good. Why? So these are the things that have really angered a lot of people in the country. And as it seems now, the EndSARS protest has gone beyond just EndSARS protest, because it has just like scratched on the layers upon layers of issues that Nigerians have to deal with, have to endure as a country. So apart from the EndSARS, you know, a lot of people were already saying by the time the demands of the EndSARS protest are fully met, we are going to start, you know, a new protest demanding for better. All Nigerians want is just better, an end to corruption, an end to all of this mismanagement of our resources, an end to police brutality, so that we can all have a country that we'll be proud of. I was at the protest ground, you know, about twice there at Lekki, and you know, a lot of Nigerians kept saying, we just want our country to be okay. That's the yearning of the young generation of Nigerians, you know, this young generation of Nigerians. We just want a country that we all can be proud of, a country where people would want to come and visit or even want to come and live, because we have all the resources, we have all it takes. But these are the politicians that won't let this country prosper. But what you can see happening across the country now is just a general awakening. Nigerian youth, this Sorosuke generation has awoken. They want to take the destiny of this country in their hands and, you know, rebuild this country. So please join this, you know, these efforts to rebuild our nation as Nigerians. Let's give it, and let's not allow any form of, you know, regional sentiments to divide us, because already I'm seeing on social media some posts where people are trying to already bring in, you know, ethnic sentiments, or you people are allowing these people to deceive you, to destroy, to do. I'm not in support of any form of vandalism or, you know, looting and all of that, but let's not by any means allow this old generation of politicians to divide us on any form of ethnic, religious, or whatsoever lines. Let's not allow them to divide us anymore. We know better. We are one Nigeria. We understand better. Speak the language that the people within your communities understand. Let's not allow these people to deceive us anymore. They are our enemies. They are the people who are holding us in perpetual poverty, holding us in perpetual underdevelopment. We know better now. This generation of Nigerians will know better. Let's unite as one Nigeria and speak as one. Let's bulldoze these old politicians out. It's a collective effort. When time comes to register, go register so that you can start voting, because INEC has already, you know, started talks about the election timetable and all of that. When time comes for registration to vote, I'm going to register to vote. Go register to vote. That's the power we have to change things in our country. Don't sell your vote when the time comes, because hey, it's becoming obvious. Look at what is happening. Look at what is happening. The food that was meant for us, they stored it away and allowed it to go bad. Why should that be? We deserve better, Nigerians. Let's do better. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.